Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to the village board meeting, 7 o'clock, Monday, September 11th, 2023. We'll have a roll call of officers.
Chris Clear, Will South, Dan Wolf.
Open meeting law compliance check. Can we all please stand for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, a moment of silence for 9/11. Thank you. Do we have any public input? No public input. We'll move on to the Belgium area Chamber of Commerce report.
That is need to showcase. They'll have their dogs out. Costume contest, some quizzes, some vendors, demonstration. So that should be a good time. That is on Sunday, October 8th from 2 to 4 p.m. We're also starting plans for this year's European Christmas event, which will be held Sunday, December 3rd, and we have our first meeting this week, so I can let you know more next month. And then the last thing I thought I'd mention is we have a couple things in our chamber store that are new. We'll be selling Quick Trip car wash cards, so if anybody would like to purchase it, you get 5 ultimate car washes, and I think you save $14 off, you know, just driving up normally, and as chamber members, you save an additional 10%. Village is a chamber member. I believe you guys will be interested in that. And we still have our Life is Better in a Small Town shirt for sale. So that's chamber. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for?
No question.
No, thank you very much. We'll move on to the village marshal report.
Okay, for August, we had one dog barking complaint that was ongoing, and person ended up getting a warning citation out of it. And she's aware of the problem. She's gonna try to keep it in check, otherwise she'll get a citation the next time around. And also had a camper on the street, and the guy was doing some repairs on it. As soon as he got the repairs done, he got to put it back in his driveway. It was one of the larger campers. And with Brad's help, we got the citations figured out the right way to do them and stuff. So now going forward, we can issue those.
Any other questions for Leon? Okay, then we'll move on to consent agenda items. I'll make a motion, we approve items 8A, B, and C. Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions? The only thing on here is, just so everybody knows, October 29th from 4 to 7 is trick or treat. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Julie, I'm guessing that all the operator license you sent were a lot of those Quick Trips. Okay, cause I'm like, okay, like
Double the number of operators.
Wasn't a lot of that.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. 10A, approve finance and personnel committee's recommendation to go forward with contract with ProShed Shred for paper shredding services.
We currently use Reddit. Our agreement with them is ending. We did get a quote from this alternative ProShed. They're up in Milwaukee. They are cheaper, and we have had a few issues with Shreddit, so we recommended trying something new. This is only a 1-year agreement, so if we don't like it, we can switch back.
I make a motion to approve the Finance Personnel Committee's recommendation to go forward with contract with ProShred for paper shredding service.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Anything else on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10B, approve finance personnel's recommendation of policy on unsolicited proposals.
So we brought this, to finance and personnel, Julie and I, because we get a lot of, the same organizations who are trying to sell something to the village, and after the village has acted on it at board level, they'll come back every year and want to have it readdressed, and we wanted some guidance as to what you guys wanted us to do as far as how often these issues should be brought back to the board. And that's what this policy is about. It basically says that somebody contacts the village with an unsolicited proposal. It outlines the steps we would take. We would refer it to the appropriate committee at the next meeting. The committee would then take whatever action, recommending the board action. If the board determines that they do not want to contract with that proposal, then they would not be able to bring that back for board action. The committee recommended 24 months. So just a way of us being able to tell them, nope, we acted on this in September of 22. We can't readdress it until
September 25.
correct 24.
Sorry. I was 23. I'll make a motion to approve the finance and personnel's recommendation of policy on unsolicited proposals.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. 10C, approve finance and personnel's recommended updates to joint agreement with town and fire department for fire and emergency services to be presented at joint meeting on September 18th at the Belgian Firehouse.
So our agreement is due to be renewed, and Fire Chief Pat Wester has requested a couple of changes. So this will be reviewed at the joint meeting, but finance and personnel reviewed it and make a recommendation to approve those requested changes by the fire chief. And they are to change the payments installments from April 30th and September 30th to February 1st and August 1st. That will not cause any financial hardship to the village whatsoever. And to keep the term still for 4 years. You know, so this is basically, you guys would recommend to approve or no these changes, and then it will be jointly approved at the joint meeting at the end of this month.
I'll make a motion to approve finance and personnel's recommended updates to the joint agreement with the town and fire department for fire and emergency services to be presented at the joint meeting on September 18th.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. 10D, approve public utilities recommendation to not go forward with the proposed buyout agreement presented by Tower Point. And that's the water towers for the cell.
Yes, Tower Point is one of the
Unsolicited.
unsolicited proposals that we get every year. They basically, what they do is they buy out lease agreements for water tower leases with cell phone. And they're proposing buying out the remainder of our lease, which is about 7 years left on it. They would be paying essentially double what our 7 years is, but by paying for that 7 years, they would get 99 years of rights to rent out our tower.
You lose the real estate.
So, you know, if there's a gamble that in 7 years, the towers won't, you know, be renewed, the leases, but if they were going to renew, we would be out 100 years of revenue. So.
I wasn't very nice to them. I don't think they'll come back.
That,
I move to approve public utilities recommendation not to go forward with the proposed buyout agreement presented by Tower Point.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. 10E, approve public utilities recommendation to allocate funds from sewer fund balance to remove structure located at lift station number 1 behind village garage and to add concrete surface to be completed in 2023. Paul?
All right, you can see, yes, right where the mouse is,
that is an old digester from, Dan claims it's from back in the forties.
Said it was a swimming pool.
If you wanna swim in it, I'll recommend it. So I would knock that structure down there, pour a concrete slab and replace next year the 1984 generator that's inside that building. Right now, it's undersized for both of the pumps. You can run one pump. But what Dan and I found out the one day when we really needed it, and it ran, after about 4 hours, it ate about half of the oil, the crankcase oil, so it's just time.
That's time.
It's time.
Well, and that generator is 30 years old, I believe, or there.
1980.
Yeah, and it had a 20-year life expectancy, so we've well gone past it, and we have the money saved in equipment replacement. As far as the, money that Paul, believes he will need for this tearing down and concrete slab, that would come from the sewer fund balance, which is currently sitting at, 397,000. That's an unrestricted fund balance. So there's plenty of money to cover this $10,000 this year.
It was getting 14.
14,000 this year.
I move to approve Public Utilities recommendation to allocate funds from sewer fund balance to remove structure located at lift station #1 behind Village Garage and to add concrete surface to be completed in 2023.
I'll second.
Motion's made and second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10F, approve Public Works recommendation regarding permitted street parking on designated streets. This is for the apartment buildings, right?
And
What they want is they want, free parking on, or, unrestricted parking during winter all around the apartment building. It's gonna cause a problem with snow plowing. It's also gonna set a precedent for all the other apartment buildings around here.
Or for everyone.
Yeah, because the way they explained it was they have like basically like shared areas on just agreements, handshake agreements on it, spaces. So they're just gonna have to work that out.
Well, they did have that 8x52 green space.
Green space that they can pour more
Possibly
concrete in.
put concrete down.
Well,
For more.
but
If
they cannot
If
without a
they're
variance.
going to
Right,
a variance,
variance.
yeah.
Is there anything against parking, having them put more parking spots where that little 3-foot wall is toward Main Street on the south side of the parking lot? That's what?
You look at the option, they get tough.
Oh,
You have to go for variance.
okay.
I move to approve Public Works recommendation regarding permitted street parking on designated streets,
that is not,
that
that
it,
are not be allowed.
that it not be allowed.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Then G, approve Public Works recommendation regarding paving Silver Beach Road. Danny?
I, got some probable cause, for doing the, Silver Beach Road. We had Public Works meeting last week and they looked at the plans and everything and they thought we should go ahead and get some, final quotes and go ahead with the project for next year. I mean, if you got all the plans in front of you, if you click on them highlight things, so basically it would be from the treatment plant east to the train tracks, that portion it's not paved. Would raise your road and put some culverts underneath there and
Now, did that price, did that cover, all the engineering and stuff that's going into it?
yeah, whatever that quote, yeah.
So $500,000 is a lot cheaper than what years ago it was almost 4 million.
Yeah, we're only doing 700 feet.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I just have a quick question. Everything, Terry Hanson. Everything east of the railroad tracks is the town's responsibility?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's being paved this year yet. The first coat of asphalt, when they're cool.
So the project is expected to be about 500,000. We currently have a little over 250,000 in ARPA money that needs to be assigned by the end of 24 and spent shortly thereafter. So this would be a good project for that money. The remaining money, I am looking into options, but I think that probably our best bet would be to get a short-term loan directly from one of the area banks. And when I say short-term, I mean like 5-year. It can be levied if we cannot fit it into our existing budget to pay those payments, we can levy for it. I will know by the time we have all our budget numbers together from the state, exactly what impact it would have on our levy. Long before we go forward with the project, we will know how it will affect the levy and whether or not at that point we want to proceed. But we could use capital projects money for that. It would probably end up requiring us to delay some other capital things. So I think that we would be better off doing a short-term loan for that project. But I'm working on pulling together numbers. In the meantime, if you guys do recommend going forward with this, it still wouldn't happen until we go out for bid and approve it. And so we will know financing long before that. If that makes
What
sense.
proportion would be funded through the ARPA funds?
About half.
About
Half of it. So we will have more, should have more than half with the interest that's been accruing. We're over 250 now, and I expect we'll have more before we expend that. But we would still be looking at, you know, a little over between 200 and 250 that we would need to do in terms of a loan likely or capital projects. But like I said, I'm working on this. All came up toward the end of last week, so I haven't been able to pull exact bid amounts on a loan, but certainly by October, I believe I'll have a lot of information by the October board meeting for you on that too.
And what Matt said, from McMahon, if we want to go ahead, we did this project in February, and we can do it next summer. Gotta keep the ball rolling.
We gotta wait till February to bid it?
Well, he has to draw everything up, he has to design the road and everything, he just has a preliminary design. So the next step is to do, you know, design everything and then get the bids out.
And the initial expenses to do the bidding part and to do the engineering, we can use ARPA money for that. Even if we decide to not do the project in 24, we can still use ARPA money for that portion of it. So nothing would be impacting our general fund right away.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the Public Works recommendation regarding paving Silver Beach Road.
I'll second.
Motions are made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 10H, approve Public Works recommendation regarding painting dividing stripes on corner of East Reading Circle. Oh,
Can you bring that one?
and that the village employees can do, right?
Yeah. So apparently, people tend to swing narrow or wide on here because of the little cul-de-sac, rounded area here. So, the request was that we put a line just to try to keep the cars more in the right lane.
Yeah, we have another area just like that on the, in the Heritage Park subdivision where it's big, high gravel like that, so.
And with the residents asking for that, right?
Well, especially when you back out of your garage. You know, we live on that path, you gotta be real careful. Pulling in your garage too, they come flying around that.
Yeah.
If you're in
There's
that-
also there, you can't
That
see.
east, for that eastbound portion of it, the right side, you're pulling in either, any of those houses up in there. They come flying around and I've almost been hit about 3 times.
And our village crew can paint those lines. Are you with the painter? Okay.
I move to approve Public Works recommendation regarding painting dividing stripes on corner of East Reading Circle.
I'll second.
Motions are made and seconded.
Brad, we're not liable if anything were to happen with the stripe painted, right? If somebody crosses over the center line and decides to take out another car, the stripe has nothing to do with it?
No, strictly.
Okay,
Public right of
just
way.
checking.
Public.
Okay, just checking.
On the driver.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Approve Public Works recommendation regarding recycle center access rules.
So in your packet, there's a brief explanation of a situation that came up. It was, somebody had taken a card out in a relative's name, claiming that they were helping their elderly relative. Turned out the elderly relative didn't know anything about it. They violated, their card has been turned off. That's all been dealt with. We just wanted to make the board aware of it. We proposed that going forward, if a situation like that were to arise where anyone other than the homeowner was taking out the card, that we would verify with the homeowner that in fact they knew about it, and just handle it that way rather than going to extreme of, asking for IDs or, anything. So, we proposed that to the, Public Works, and their recommendation is, that we handle it internally, just monitoring it a little closer in the future.
Okay, there's no motion necessary for that one. 10J, approve Class A combination alcohol license for Quick Trip.
I'll make a motion to approve that Class A license.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Approve purchase of security camera system for Heritage Park to be paid from general fund balance. Evidently, there was some problem up there lately.
Yeah, we had a couple of incidents, we had some vandalism done on the bathroom building and on the Bronco shed building, there was some golf balls hit against there, stuff like that, so we had some pricing to put some cameras in. We presented it to the Public Works meeting for our budget, thought we could put it in the next year's budget, but then Vicky had said that maybe we can take it out of the fund balance this year, Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, if we went ahead with it this year and got it taken care of, it would bring us from 19%, which we're currently at, to 18% of our fund balance. It would still leave us $240,000 in our fund balance. So rather than delay it and perhaps end up pushing our budget into difficult areas next year, I just thought, since we didn't make any special requests for fund balance this year because we were right at the, normally if we're over the recommended 25%, then the board and the staff kind of comes up with things that have been delayed or pushed off because we didn't have funds, but we didn't do that this year. So we have a comfortable fund balance, and if the board does approve it, we could go ahead and get that taken care of this year.
I'll move to approve the purchase of a security camera system for Heritage Park to be paid from general fund balance.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. That's the quote, $12,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. I'll make a motion, we go into closed session.
I'll second.
Motion's been made second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, just a minute. Now we'll pull. Aye.
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 Okay, we're in closed session. And it'd be just, board here.
Yeah. Real nice.
Okay, we're back in open session at 7:34.
And Julie, it was moved by Pete and seconded by me to go into open session. Okay.
So-
let's check.
Okay. We can move on to 10M right away.
Do we have to,
Any action related to full session?
so we have to do 10I.
Okay, I guess,
Well, that's in- Yeah.
Maybe it is a motion.
okay, the actions that,
That does.
action that was agreed upon was, $2 per hour for the clerk, $2 an hour raise for the treasurer. And that was it.
And the
Certification, right?
Well,
treasurer.
Yeah.
cer-
That was in the next one. Okay, we need a motion on that one?
No, we need to discuss that 2% increase. We had to do that in open
We ain't,
session.
we ain't that
Brad.
far yet. Do we need a
It's all
motion
in
on
one
10I?
motion.
Or 10L? Do we need to make a motion? Come up here yet.
No,
If you.
Just wait.
it's all
Just
in
fucking
10.
wait.
It's all covered in 10N.
Okay, we'll go on to 10M. Approve Finance Personnel Committee recommendation of 2% increase in wages for all village employees, village treasurer and village clerk increase of $2 per hour. And certification raise $1,288.65 for treasurer upon completion of certification there.
Well. 2% isn't enough. That doesn't even cover, the inflation. I mean, it's 3% inflation. I think that's what we should give them, at least 3%.
I agree with that.
Mean at least.
I would make an amendment to make 3%. Cover cost of living.
Well, are we going to make that a variable amount then, as inflation waxes and wanes throughout the year? I think that there's an argument to be made for a standard.
We're sitting here right now and inflation is at 3%. And every year we're gonna go through this, so. Maybe some years we don't do it, and other years we do. I mean, inflation is. They gotta make a living, they gotta be able to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And everything is getting more expensive, we all know that.
Okay, somebody make a motion then.
Okay, I'll make a motion to, recommend a 3% increase in wages for all village employees. Village treasurer and village clerk to increase of $2 per hour. And the $1,288.65 per treasurer upon completion of her certification.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made in second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Before we adjourn, we have a committee of the whole meeting Wednesday, October 11th, 6 o'clock. Does that work for everyone?
I won't be here, but I talked to Julie. I can try to zoom in. I'm in Mexico again that week. So I'll try. I don't know where I'll be that day.
What time was that, Pete?
6 o'clock on October 11th.
Yeah, I should be okay.
That's the budget review.
That's the budget one.
Yeah, work for you?
No,
Great, then I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second.
Motion's been made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.